So I'm pretty sure that Chris and I just defied the laws of physics on that thing because of how much.
We went to another dimension.
Yeah.
Another dimension. That was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Joe?
It looks gross.
I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture. I like to combine theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. Last time, I was in South Dakota, where I made a stop to see the famous Mount Rushmore, and then went to ride the Rushmore Mountain Coaster. After a bit of a drive, I made it to Storybook Land in Aberdeen, which had not just a roller coaster, but a really neat story trail based on The Wizard of Oz. This time, I'm heading back to Minnesota to meet up with my friends JoAnna and Chris, and we're starting our time together with a visit at the Mall of America for Nickelodeon Universe.
So I got the car gassed up. Time to hit the road to get to Minnesota so I can meet up with my friends Chris and JoAnna for the Minnesota and Iowa part of this trip.
As I got closer and closer to Minneapolis, the number of lakes started to increase, seeming to indicate that I was back in Minnesota. There was some wildlife along the way, and enough time before everyone would arrive to the airport to just stop and take in the views.
So after a lot of driving between the states of Dakota, both north and south, made it back to Minneapolis, and now I am riding with Chris and JoAnna, and we are about to go on our own Minnesota and Iowa adventure. Okay guys, wave. Chris isn't gonna wave. When I was waiting for you to arrive, because I got there about 45 minutes ahead of Joe, I found this desk where I could go ahead and set my laptop on and just kind of wait for a bit, kill some time. And there was a woman that sat next to me, set up her iPad. But the thing though is that the desk was set up in a way where it looked like it was one of the official desks of the airport. Really? And so people kept walking up to us asking where things were. And we had to keep telling them, we're sorry, we don't work here. We have no idea how to get there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's Mall of America.
And that mall that JoAnna saw would be our first stop. While the mall features a wide array of stores for shopping, we had one primary motivation for our stop here: Nickelodeon Universe. This was one of the very few places I had been before on this trip, once as part of my family's move to North Carolina, and again in 2014 when I had a connecting flight at Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. Remember this tidbit from my arrival to Minneapolis?
If you do find yourself at the Minneapolis airport here in Minnesota, you can take the light rail here and it'll take you to the Mall of America.
Well, that's exactly what I did when I had a bit of a layover. For Chris and JoAnna, though, this was a new park. We started our visit with a spin on the Pepsi Orange Streak, one of the park's original rides. I rode it on my first visit and really like how it offers a ride that covers almost every corner of the park. There aren't many parts of the park where you can look up and not see this ride. The next ride we took on was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shell Shock. This was a ride I had ridden during my last visit in 2014. This Gerstlauer Skyfly attraction allows riders to control the wings on the sides that will cause them to spin side to side. I tend to prefer their Skyroller model, which has more of an even circular motion, and they tend to be easier to spin. But this can still be a ton of fun if you get it going.
So we just did the Ninja Turtle Shell Shock ride, and unlike these other Gerstlauer airplane style rides, couldn't really get any good momentum on it. Chris, what'd you think of it?
That was intense. Nothing like hanging on to the lap part of the whole thing. That's the only thing that was keeping me into that thing.
No kidding. Good Lord, that hurt.
Man.
JoAnna, were you amused by watching us do this?
I was. I was very much so.
Next, we rode Avatar Airbender. While this ride was here for my last visit, it unfortunately was closed for maintenance, so I missed out on it. But it was nice to be able to come back and get the credit this time.
Avatar was interesting. A little tight on the restraints, but you get these really bizarre near ceiling collisions, it seems like, when you get really high up to the top there.
We then went on to another original of the park, the log chute.
JoAnna, you ready for the log ride magic?
Yes!
All right.
When my family moved to North Carolina and we stopped here, this was mine and my brother's favorite ride in the park, as we went back and forth between this and Orange Street several times. The original animatronics and Paul Bunyan theme have remained with this ride even after the Nickelodeon retheme back in 2008.
I cannot believe how wet I got from that water ride. My shorts are drenched.
Another ride I had previously ridden was the Fairly Odd Coaster. This Gerstlauer spinning mouse is one of the best types of spinning coasters, and this one certainly doesn't disappoint, especially in the event that you get an unbalanced car, as Chris and I did when we rode together.
So I'm pretty sure that Chris and I just defied the laws of physics on that thing because of how much
We went to
stick
another
we got.
dimension.
Yeah,
Another dimension, that was crazy.
yeah, exactly. Joe?
It looks gross.
Yeah.
There was one last coaster that I had yet to ride in either previous visit, and that was the small Zamperla powered coaster back at the Barnyard Hayride. While some don't count powered coasters, my philosophy is that if gravity makes it go faster downhill and not at a controlled speed, it counts. But that's just me.
So needless to say, these two wouldn't join me on the Barnyard Hayride, but to be fair, it was kind of tight on that thing. And it was a little bit on the sad and pathetic side, but you know what? Shameless credit achieved. Yes!
While the log chute was my favorite ride from my first visit, my favorite from my second visit, and still my favorite ride in the park, is the SpongeBob SquarePants Rock Bottom Plunge. This custom Gerstlauer Eurofighter offers moments of head chopping with the ceiling and multiple moments of airtime in the course through a compact and tight layout. My only complaint is that I wish they had lap bars instead of the over-the-shoulder harnesses, as the Eurofighters that have lap bars give more of a free feeling when riding and eliminate some of the headbanging.
Rock Bottom Plunge is really a fun, more compact style Eurofighter. It's not going to be the same kind of ride like a Takashiba or a Mystery Mine or things like that, but it really is a fun ride. What I think might be the coolest detail in this park, so right outside of SpongeBob's Rock Bottom Plunge, you have home plate here from the old Metropolitan Stadium where the Minnesota Twins played before the opening of the Metrodome. And so we look out this way, this would be looking toward the pitcher's mound, center field. So over toward this direction would be left field, and then over to this direction would be right field.
On the way out of the park, it seemed like a great idea to enjoy a treat.
So we're trying cookie dough from Dodo here at the Mall of America. I find that it's very rich. I've got the Knock Knock variety, which has no chocolate chips. Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you get?
I got s'mores and chocolate chip.
And Jojo?
Just chocolate chip for me.
And we
Very
approve?
rich. It's very
It is
good,
very
but very
rich.
rich.
It's very good, very rich.
I'm not going to eat all of this right now. I'm going to save some for later.
There's no eggs in it.
He's a quitter. So So at this point now, we are departing from the Mall of America. It was a fun day at the park, getting a chance to ride several of the coasters, getting a chance to cover ones that had not been ridden previously. So it's time to head to the hotel, as we are going to go and see a movie tonight before waking up in the morning, and then we'll be on our way to Iowa.
Thank you for watching this video from Coasting with Culture. If you haven't already done so, please consider clicking that subscribe button down below if you'd like to see future videos. You can also find Coasting with Culture on Twitter and Facebook as well. And of course, for more travel experiences, visit coastingwithculture.com. Until next time, take care and safe travels.